Hi, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Unholy and Curious. I know it's been a while since I did my podcast, but I've been traveling and I've been working and I've just been a busy girl. But I'm happy to be back, and I am back in New York City for a very special episode with my good friend, Sienna Hubert-Ross.
The slowness, yes.
And she's an amazing actor, and she also has a podcast of her own called Sexual Reeducation, which is major. And you were just in a movie. You just shot a movie.
I did 2 days ago. I just got back. I won't talk about it, but it was great, and there's some cool people attached, and it was such a fun time. And
there were some stars.
There's a couple stars.
There's some stars.
And I'm really excited to see it when it's all together. I don't know when, but I'm sure they'll update me when it's like all edited and, you know.
Yeah.
That's
like so exciting. It's nice to be must be nice to be like a working actress because
you spend so much time not being a working actor, or like a lot of like almost, you know, and and then you're like, okay.
How often are you like very close to getting a project?
I would say like I'll have like producer sessions and I get callbacks, but I've been pinned for like a few roles, which is like when you are like you're at like the top, so they'll pin like a couple people, and then literally it'll be like the week before, like I was pinned like for one role recently, and then it was just like whatever. So it's just kind of like a waiting game, and just auditioning as much as possible, because it's like a numbers game. Like, you never know what's going to be the thing, and sometimes you're like, oh my god, that tape was, I feel really good about that tape, and then did anyone watch it?
Yeah.
You know?
It's also like a popularity contest, which is really annoying. It's kind of like if you're in one big thing, then like everybody kind of wants you. It's very similar to modeling. It's like if you're in like one really big show, then like everybody all of a sudden like is paying attention to you and like wants to put you in their
and then there's obviously like the social media element, which is newer. I feel like I've only really been like,
oh my god, that must be like so irritating for you to have like these TikTok assholes.
Oh my god, Addison
stealing
Rae.
your spotlight.
She's like the lead of the She's All That remake. Addison Rae.
She's All That. Is that like the cheerleading?
No, it was, but you would know it if you saw like a trailer for it. It was like a classic.
Was that with Amanda Bynes?
No, it was with frick. You would recognize the girl. She was in a lot. She was in like Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, but you would recognize. Trust me, you would recognize her.
Sure.
But so they're doing like a reboot, and it's basically like the opposite, where it's like the cool girl and like nerdy guy, and you know she gets like, I think he gets like the makeover and all that. I don't know. But anyway, it's hard because it's trying to figure out how to maneuver and stand out is a lot, you know.
Definitely.
And then figuring out TikTok and stuff, which you know a lot. I don't know how TikTok works. I feel like there's always like a new thing that I just don't understand. I mean, I watch TikToks, but I don't get how the algorithm works. I feel like it's just always like a new person blowing up. Teach me how TikTok works.
I don't know how TikTok works really. Like, you're asking the wrong girl. Yeah. I mean, I think like if you're just like hot and controversial, like you're gonna explode on TikTok essentially.
Yeah.
And most people want, and you have to be like really young too. Like, it favors younger. Like very young, hot white teenagers.
Yes. Oh,
you know,
that's actually really interesting because I actually,
like Addison Rae, the D'Amelios, also, and then like all the boys are all like young teens,
and they all like look vaguely similar.
The one who just had the fight, Bryce Hall.
Yes.
Did you watch that fight?
I didn't, but I watched the Logan Paul fight.
I did.
Did you?
I think Logan Paul is hot.
I do too, and I
used to hate him, but now Jake Paul, the brother, is like very annoying, and I'm like,
he's annoying.
But
it's part of his brand, and it works, and it sells the fight.
Logan Paul gives me like big dick energy, and he seems like kind of funny. Did you see how he had like the super rare Pokemon card?
Yes,
I thought that was like very cute and sexy, and I was very about it. It's called Impulsive.
Yeah.
I know about it. I don't listen to it. Like, I don't know if I really want to hear him talk. Like, what does he have to say? Like, about
he gets
anything?
like pretty interesting people on. Like, he got
because he's super famous. Like, he could get anybody on because like,
but he's
there's
good
so
at
many
talking
people, like,
too.
watching.
Yeah, and he's good. I think that
Does he sound smart? Like when
he does. I mean, I think his co-host kind of like he talks so much, his co-host, that I feel like Logan doesn't talk as much, which kind of sucks because it's literally his show.
co-host is like the Mike guy.
The Mike, yeah.
The one who is dating Lana Rhodes.
Yeah, who's now pregnant by someone else.
Work. I like, because I was.
I hate that I know this
I know. I hate that I know this too. Clearly, I have no life. But because I was watching the Frenemies podcast with Trish and Ethan Klein, Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein.
Yeah.
I feel like I was up to date on all my YouTube drama. So I know that this Mike guy who's looks like a total meathead douchebag.
He's literally like 37 too.
Yeah, he just like is like, he looks like a fucking loser.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, you know what I mean? And I mean, I can't even believe that Lana Rhodes was giving him the time of day, you know, because she's like really hot and really gorgeous and like very soft spoken.
Her skin is insane too.
Yeah, great body, great lips,
Oh
like
God,
whatever.
yeah.
I know she's had probably a tweak here and there, but
Yeah.
it suits her very well. Like
It
sometimes
suits
like
her.
plastic surgery just like really like.
I'm pro
glows.
plastic surgery.
I am if it looks good on you. There
Yeah.
are some people though who just like they'll get stuff done and it just doesn't look good on them.
Well, I think that you need to know, like, it's not like, okay, like, I want this nose. It has to be, like, the nose that fits your face, or, like, you know what I mean? It has to be based around your face. Because if I got, like, the same thing that, like, I don't know, Kim Kardashian got, like, well, maybe that would actually work for me. But
you want a BBL.
but you know what I mean? Like, like, if I'm trying to copy someone else's face, like, that's just not going to work. And then I'll look, like, botched, you know?
No, that's not the vibe. You don't want to look botched. You want to look like you've had nothing done. Or if you've had something done, you want to look like maybe people can't figure out quite what it is. Mm-hmm. I've had everything done.
Yeah.
But hopefully
it looks fucking amazing.
Hopefully it doesn't look like too
it doesn't.
plasticky.
No. If you were walking down the street, I wouldn't be like, okay, that girl has had her whole face done. I wouldn't.
I haven't had like my whole face done.
No,
I just have like lip filler and I've gotten like a nose job.
Yeah. And also
my nose job was botched, by the way.
It's not botched, but I don't think you needed it.
I didn't need it, but I feel like I look like cuter and more femme now. I asked my boyfriend, I was like, do you like my old nose better or do you like this nose better?
And what did he say?
He didn't.
Well, of course,
he
has to say your new nose. I would be like,
he said my new nose, but I was like, honestly, you can be real with me, like, be honest with me, and because whatever, I don't care. Like, I'll get another one, and if it
well,
really
your nose
looks
is
fucked,
always growing. That's why, like, I'm gonna get it. No offense.
You don't need a nose job.
But
what would they do to your nose?
But I would just want it smaller.
Yeah, I got mine like smaller. It's a little too small though. I wish it was just like a little.
Did they like crack the bone or did they just shave it?
They shaved it.
Okay.
But the problem is like the way it healed, it's like a little too stuck up for me. Like I want the tip to come down a little bit more, and I'm thinking maybe I'll get a little filler in the tip just to make it like, you know what I'm saying? Do you see how it's like pretty, but it's like very sort of like Cindy Lou Who.
You're a who.
It's, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't have an issue with that. I think like it's not that it looks bad on me. I think I look better than I did before personally. Mm-hmm. Like I definitely feel like I look more like femme, which wasn't kind of the goal. Like I was kind of I didn't want to look like as androgynous anymore. Mm-hmm. I wanted to look more like, you know, pretty.
I mean, you were always gorgeous last year before, but also your nose will change. You know what I mean? Like in a year from now,
that better just get smaller.
Yeah,
I better just get skinnier.
We love the small noses. We love.
I'm contouring this motherfucker every day.
Oh my god, I contour the hell out of my face. I watched your contour video about like contouring underneath, and I was like, holy shit.
Oh yeah,
life changing, because it just like makes this protrude more. And
I contour my lips now.
How?
I don't know. I don't think I contoured them today. So like nobody, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're not going to be able to see the contoured lips. But my lips are fake anyways. Like lip filler boots the house. But I like you just take like bronzer or whatever contour it is and you put it around your lip border instead of putting lip liner.
Okay.
And it sort of just makes it look like there's a shadow.
Oh, so
like,
they like
so it makes your lips look like bigger.
Oh my god.
Which I love because I think it's really attractive when the space between your nose and your lips is really short. Like all of those filters
like the
on
Michelle
Instagram.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
type.
like all those Instagram filters like shorten that like space in between. You're like, I think that's like a prettier.
Oh, of course.
You know.
Of course. Like I once went to because my mom gets her lips done and I went and they were like, we like to fill in the bottom. And I'm like, no, why would you want lips like that? Like
you have to have them balanced.
Okay, you have to have them balanced. You do. But I love like the oh, you know who has major lips? Do you know that model Thailand like Blondo?
No.
Okay, I'll show you her later.
You'll show me her later.
But she has like the best lips I've ever seen, and they're natural. She was like voted like most beautiful child model ever. Like she's like
most beautiful child model ever. What? The most beautiful child. Voted number 1 by the sex offender registry.
No, but she's really, really, really pretty. So does that Megan Roche model.
Oh my god, Megan Roche is so gorgeous.
Insane.
Like so, she's like so pretty. It's like disturbing.
It's disturbing.
She looks like Brooke Shields. She has like that same sort of like young Brooke Shields. No.
Okay, I think she.
I mean, they are equally.
Yeah.
Like Brooke Shields and Megan Roche are like very much cut from the same cloth type of beauty. Like, thick eyebrows, like blue, like ocean blue eyes. You know what I mean?
And like a really strong jawline.
Like a strong jawline, but a short face. Like she doesn't have like a long horsey face like me.
You don't have.
I am tired of being compared to Shelley Duvall. These fucking people compare me to Shelley Duvall. Not that there's anything wrong with Shelley Duvall. She's like an icon, and yeah, she's like beautiful and everything, but she's not hot.
No, she's not.
People tell me I look like Shelley Duvall all the time. I'm like, literally, you hater.
Now I see that, but you're like, if she was really hot, you're what she.
I'm like Shelley Duvall if she had like a glow up.
Also, when your hair's blonde, you're nothing like her, because I think that's her thing is like the dark hair, you know. You just need to dye your hair again.
If I dye my hair blonde, when I dye my hair blonde, I get Uma Thurman. But Uma Thurman, I'm into.
Yeah.
I think Uma Thurman is like very pretty. Like horse face legends. Like we love. Like I'm a horsey.
Who do I look like?
Who do you look like?
Mm-hmm. I'm scared.
Kimora Lee Simmons.
Okay.
Like a young Kimora Lee Simmons.
I see that.
I see that too. I don't know. You don't really look like anybody like specifically,
which
but
is
I think that's
like a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, like especially if you're an actress, you don't want to like look like too much like anybody. Like there are so many actresses who look like Margot Robbie, and you kind of feel like, oh, they couldn't afford Margot Robbie, so they got the girl who looks like Margot Robbie.
And Margot Robbie's always like hotter.
Yeah, she's the hotter versions of those girls who look almost identical.
Yes,
you know,
100%. You know, who looks so similar that Nina Dobrev and the Victoria Justice. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Moving along. We have a lot of things.
I get black Miley Cyrus.
Maybe. I don't know. I have to ponder that one a little, but Black Miley Cyrus, maybe a little, maybe like same face shape.
Yeah, I get the mouth.
Yeah, she does have like a very similar mouth situation to you, but I'm not a big Miley Cyrus. I don't think like Miley Cyrus. I think she's pretty.
Yeah,
I don't think she's like a beauty icon though. You know.
No.
You know,
she's not a beauty
she's
icon.
Like she's Hannah Montana.
She'll
always be Hannah Montana.
I think she'd be offended if you said that. She's a rock star.
She's not my friend. Like,
have you listened to her new music?
No, I think it's cool though that she's like stepped into her own and like that she's like a rocker now or like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I value.
I don't feel like a lot of people are doing that these days, doing like the rock fruit. I don't know. But I don't listen to
She's trying to be like Debbie Harry.
Yeah.
Whatever. I respect it. Like, good for Miley.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not like she's not my favorite though. Like,
no.
I'm not like a fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What about Demi Lovato?
Should we just get right into it?
Sure.
So, like, this episode is kind of, like, going to be, like, a little bit LGBTQ focused because Sienna is a lesbian.
Oh, yeah, I'm gay. So.
And for those who don't already know, I am a tranny.
So.
You
always have to come out all the time.
I just am constantly coming out.
Yeah, I feel the same way being like femme. Like I have to like always be like, wait, no, but I'm gay.
Demi Lavato came out as non-binary.
Yeah.
Which is obviously like a desperate ploy for like attention and to maintain relevance.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
I think that I don't know enough about them, but
are you gonna respect her pronouns?
I feel like I are you?
No.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell me why. As a trans person, I need to know why.
Because it is, first of all, like Demi Lovato clearly has so many issues. Everybody who says like describes her as having Munchausen syndrome. Just like constantly.
Wait, did you listen to her? Did you listen to them on Joe Rogan?
No. Why would I ever like spend any time listening to Demi Lovato? But did you see how she went viral because she like said that she was triggered by like this ice cream store, frozen yogurt store that she went into with like really sugar-free options, and like she tried to cancel that store or whatever. And then like that's why I think the not coming out of as non-binary thing is such a ploy, is because she was getting so much heat for that like a week later she comes out as non-binary. I'm like, that's like really convenient to like get people to stop like talking about the fact that she's just like the worst fucking human ever.
Yeah. And it was like wasn't it a small business too, or like a little
it
business?
Was.
And it's I don't know if like celebrities forget that they have so many followers and such influence. Like I just couldn't imagine like having 100 million followers and then doing a rant about like some random bodega. You know what I mean?
She has no life.
She's such a good voice though.
So what? Beyonce has a better voice.
True.
You know what I mean? Like there's like she has a good voice. There are like people who are like not as bad, not as shitty of people who are more talented than her, and more attractive than her.
Do you think that
who like deserve like the limelight way more than she does?
Yeah.
She's just for whatever reason like been able to maintain like a level of fame because people I guess are sympathetic to her self-indulgent mental health issues. You know what I mean? She's like, she was a drug addict and she like exploited that and milked that for as much as she possibly could. Like, so what, bitch? Everybody's a fucking drug addict now.
Do you feel like sometimes celebrities just don't know what to do with themselves once they're famous and they have a lot of money? Like they don't.
She could just like take all of her traumas and make great art with it. You know, she could just write better songs, or she could like channel her like Kurt Cobain like had way more issues than she did, and Kurt Cobain like channeled all that, you know, energy into the music and didn't like run to social media or run to the press to be like, and I'm sad and like fuck the world and like blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And so there are people who are, and he killed himself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So they say. I'm just kidding.
But you know what I mean? It's like,
no, I know exactly what you mean. I do think that social media, it changes all the time, and I feel like, you know how a lot of people were saying like during the pandemic, like all these celebrities that you haven't heard of recently, like just now getting really political and all this stuff. Like I feel like people, because you have like these young people like that just go viral randomly, like these celebrities that have been like working for years and then they only have like 5 million followers, they just want to stay relevant. You know, have you noticed that? And so they'll like involve themselves in some sort of like problem. I don't know. Would you agree with this?
I mean, I think it's a good thing to have a cause, you know, like if you have a cause.
Does she,
she doesn't have like a cause. She has just like, she's just very narcissistic, you know what I mean? And she's very like self-pitying, and like, I just find all those things to be like major signs of weakness, and I don't fuck with it. And I don't think she's genuinely a gender bender, you know what I mean? Like I don't think she's non-binary. I don't think she's like on the spectrum of gender. I think she's just as on the spectrum of gender as Trisha Paytas is, if not less. You know what I mean? Like not non-binary. the funny thing about that is like people are sort of like using they're saying like it's not on the spectrum. I'm like doing this to not define my gender, but like when you define yourself as non-binary, it's kind of like in a way like defining yourself as like a gender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which people don't like often realize.
Yeah.
Like not that there's anything wrong with being non-binary. Like sexuality is certainly on a spectrum, but like when I grew up, they just called it androgynous. And now it's like a gender identity, I guess, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. Like it doesn't bother me at all. Just as long as like you are, you know, cognizant of the fact that like you're not transgender if you're non-binary. Like Demi Lovato is not a member of the trans community, period.
Yeah.
She won't be. And I'm gatekeeping.
I love you.
I'm gatekeeping.
So can I know, like...
Neither is Trisha Paytas.
Yeah. So what would make someone part of the trans community? Like, what's the
if they were transgender?
Yeah.
Like, period.
Yeah.
Not, like, yeah, like, transgender. Like, expressed their gender... I mean, express their gender identity of which is opposite to which they were born in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm trans, and I'm pretty femme, but I'm also, like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not, like, wearing pink every day and, like, being super girly all the time, you know? Like, I express my gender within a spectrum as well. Like, most people do. Like, most people have non-binary attributes about them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I would say I do, too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that I'm knocking it. It's just that, like, I feel like the non-binary community, like, actually, I forgot where I heard this line, but it was sort of like the non-binary community, like, a lot of times it makes you feel like you're being held hostage. Like, you know what I mean? Like, use our pronouns and, like, respect our gender and, like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but people can't, like, read your minds. Like, there are, like, a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I guess now the way I would describe it is if you looked at somebody and they presented in a way that was like really difficult for you to understand whether they were male or female, then like I would use they them pronouns just out of respect for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I am not going to like respect Demi Lovato's fucking pronouns because like she is very clearly like not non-binary. She is a mentally ill, attention-seeking girl who like has a short haircut, and therefore she's now non-binary, like, and I'm supposed to like call her they them because of that. Like, I don't think so. Like,
So do you like the non-binary community is separate from the trans community, would you say? Or
they've tried to like the non-binary community has tried to describe themselves as trans for a very long time. You can be trans and non-binary though. Like you can be like a trans person who like also identifies as non-binary, which I think is fine, you know what I mean? But I don't think you can be like non-binary, like a non-binary person who's like I'm trans there because I am non-binary. But it's not like Demi Lovato is going to like take any steps to present more androgynously than she already is or anything. She's just going to like move on to the next like stigmatized mental disorder that she can grasp onto for attention and public notoriety and like whatever. Like, you know, it's quite like I'm not even saying that to be mean. Like my sibling is non-binary and very much so non-binary and like does, you know.
Well, I feel like you would know when it's authentic and inauthentic. Like
yes, I think most people can see, but the problem is like the internet people like hold you, as I was saying before, like you're being held hostage. It's like you're gonna get canceled if you don't respect their pronouns or whatever. Yeah. But it's like, how much respect do we have to give somebody who like how far down the rabbit hole are we supposed to go with somebody because they say that they are something that maybe they are perhaps not? You know what I mean? Like, am I just supposed to like take what everyone says at face value, I mean, like all the time?
That's
like
the hard part about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's sort of like transracialism, which I know is like such a stupid thing to compare to being transgender or like any of those things, because like transracialism isn't like a real that? It's like Rachel Dolezal, you know how she was like, I identify as a black woman. It's like, but you're not. You know what I mean? And it's like you're like, you can tan your skin all you want and like put on a wig and call yourself.
Yeah, totally. No, I know exactly.
Call yourself black, but like if you're going to expect everybody to like go along with that and respect it, like you're crazy.
I think it's really interesting the stuff.
But like nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine being canceled for being like, I'm sorry, but like, you're not
black.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different if you're transgender. Like, the people who like are with transgender people, they're like, you will always have XY chromosomes and like whatever. It's like, okay, fine, but like, your gender identity is defined by so much more than your chromosomes.
Of course.
And like, anybody who reduces like your gendered identity down to like what chromosomes you have is like, just, you know, it's just,
I feel like that's like the cop out.
It is,
thing.
yeah, it is such a cop out.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Because like, what are you gonna say back to that if someone's like X, Y, Y, Y? You know what I mean? You're like, okay, whatever. Like, I can't even talk to you about it.
The thing about like race is like race people attach to like specific cultural things. And I think people become like attracted to like the camaraderie of that specific culture more than they do to like actually having like that skin color or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, you know, everybody knows a white guy who, you know,
grew up in the hood,
grew up in the hood, or like
they know,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just kind of like they are white, but they are like involved in that culture. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and some people like that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
it's just like,
I don't like when people try to cancel white people from, like, okay, no one should say the N-word, but I don't like when people try to cancel white people who sound maybe slightly more urban, or you know.
Yeah, that's so weird. I don't know why.
It's just like where they grew up. Like, what?
It's where they grew up, or it's just like you don't know how they came to have that accent.
Yeah,
like whatever. I only cancel people for having a transatlantic accent. Like, have you ever met like somebody who speaks in kind of like a transatlantic accent? Like, you know what I mean?
Wait, is that like kind of like the accent in Schitt's Creek? Like more.
It's like the accent that they used to have in old movies.
Oh, I know exactly. Like vaguely British.
Like vaguely. That's why it's called transatlantic. It's kind of like you can't really tell. It's like if it's American or British.
But I love him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but I went out on a date with a guy like a while ago who talked with a transatlantic accent, and I was like, are you like, what? Like, are you?
And it was like a front. Like, no one actually has that accent.
Yeah, I was like, this is like not how anybody speaks anywhere in the world. Like, this is just like movie talk. Yeah. And like,
was he an actor?
I don't even remember what he did, but I remember just being so turned off by it, and I was sort of like, I thought it was a joke at first, and it like wasn't a joke. He just like kept up with it, and I was like, okay, bro. Like,
what's your type?
Like, a man?
Yeah.
I like guys who are athletic, but not like too big, tall. I like pretty masculine men, but I think I like men who like don't care about the stupid shit that I care about. Like, I don't want a guy, like, I don't want to look at a man's Instagram profile and see like 100 selfies or whatever.
So I kind of I feel like I understand that, because I feel like
also big cocks. Like, I love a big dick.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I'm like, I couldn't be more opposite. But would you date someone who like is an influencer or no? Like, would you date like a Logan Paul? Like, actually?
Maybe.
Yeah. I guess if they're making money off of it,
the influencer boys who have asked me out, I've always sort of been like really turned off by in the first place. Yeah. So I've always sort of like rejected them, or just not responded to their DMs or whatever, just because I was kind of like, nah.
Would you rather someone in the industry or like separate? What's hotter to you?
I mean, like, I just want somebody who's ambitious and good at what they do. Like, ideally,
passion is so hot.
I would love to date like a politician or like a financier, like a director, like somebody who like, you know, has an intellectually stimulating, you know, job,
and also like at the top of their game at,
and
like,
at the
whatever
top of their game, for sure. Like,
you're always at the top of your game, so you need someone to match your energy.
Yeah, it's hard though. I'm not very good at dating. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like monogamy, or
I'm not very good at the whole monogamy thing.
I mean, I feel like I'm an extremely monogamous person. It's just, but I think it's just like a preference thing, and you need to find someone who is on that same.
Yeah, it is kind of a preference. It was always my preference when I was younger, and then like I was single for so many years, and now I'm like back in a relationship. But like while I'm in New York City, I've been here for like a month. I like explained to my boyfriend like I needed to be like open, because I was like probably going to cheat. You know?
Yeah.
So I was like, if we have this conversation now and we sort of like give each other permission to like do what we want to do,
Yeah.
then we can avoid like any problematic.
And how did he respond to that?
He was pretty good about it.
Okay.
Like he was sort of like, he wasn't super upset or anything. I think he understood like where I was coming from, and he knew that like it was either my way or the highway. Like,
yeah,
I was either just gonna like dump him.
Who wants
or...
to lose Teddy? No one. No
yeah.
one wants to lose Teddy. So,
I don't mean to be like that. I didn't mean to like, you know, give him an ultimatum or anything.
No,
It's just
but
sort of
you
like, if you
just
want to
need
make
to
this
live your
work, like
truth.
you have to like compromise.
And what if he slept with someone else? Would that bother you or no?
No.
Okay.
I just told him, I was like, you cannot sleep with any of my friends.
Yeah.
I was like, you can fuck whoever you want. It just cannot be one of my friends.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is
100%.
totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, of course. I think, I mean, I don't think that I could ever have like an open relationship, but hypothetically, if I ever did, it would have to be with someone like, I don't want to know their Instagram. I don't want to know anything about them. Nothing. I don't want to know if they're hot or if they're.
So, like, I know your type. What, like. So, Sienna, your type. I know your type is a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more hectic. You like kind of crazy girls.
I would say like lesbians in general, for the most part, they move very, very fast, and there's a lot of like heightened energy in a relationship with like two girls. You know? Like the U-Haul thing is literally legit. Like it's not a joke. Like that, you know, when you fall in love with a girl, like I don't know what it is. Like, I'm sure there's some, like, science behind it or whatnot, but, like, you literally think, like, this is, like, my person, you know? And you want to, like, even I'm like, oh, my God, I want to make a baby. And I'm like, wait, how does that work? Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's so freaking bizarre. But I would say I like feminine girls. You know, I like pretty girls.
Yeah. But I'm okay. So, but like in lesbian dating, like it obvious. So it moves really quickly. And I know because like also our friend Danielle, like
she's
her
also
relationships like have always been like sort of like we've been dating for a month and now we're moving in. Like I feel like a lot of lesbians are like that.
Yeah. So I've never like moved in with a girl, but I feel like I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing like certain things. Like okay, like my career and then like I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Like I would just know that like living with like a significant other would just not be the thing for me right now. Like just I need to focus, you know? Like I can date, but living together is like they're all up in your space. And I'm sure you feel like a similar way.
No, for sure. I can't live with somebody.
Oh my God, no. But I do definitely relate to like just like the quick, like you don't really know someone until like 6 months. I think maybe.
Oh, for sure.
At least 6 months. And you know,
at 3 months you sort of know if you like love them or not, or like if it's like
you know if you're like vibing and if it can go somewhere, but you don't like know them until like 6 months. And like that was like an issue in another relationship I had. Just kind of you know, we only like, well, we dated, but like we hadn't met, but we talked like all the time, and then we started dating, and then like it ended very like abruptly, and I was like, wait, did I even fully know that person like before we dated? You know what I mean? Like I should have waited until like I really got to know them and was like around them. And I just think it's just like a gay thing. And I think that there's also a certain sort of
gay
like,
men rush into relationships too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can't hold them for very long though.
Why,
I feel like lesbian relationships have more longevity than gay relationships do.
I feel like they have more longevity, but they have more drama. You know what I mean? Like, can guys
Gays
be friends?
have like a lot of drama too.
Can they be
like,
friends after?
Sometimes, yes. I think that it might be easier for them to be friends after.
I think
that there's less sort of like cattiness and resentment. But
Also, the thing
gay
is,
guys also at the same time too, like they're very, it's, you know, it's like masculine and masculine. It's like very, or testosterone and testosterone. It's just like a lot of promiscuous energy. So like there's a lot of like cheating drama and sort of like attraction to other people drama. Like I just know because I have so many, you know, gay friends in my life.
I think
have
also
all these issues.
Like with girls, what's hard is that like if a guy breaks your heart, I feel like just guys are hornier in general, and it doesn't even have to come from like a malicious place. It could just come from straight up like they're horny and they weren't thinking. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a guy, but that's my assumption. I don't know. But with like a girl, it's like, okay, if they cheat, it's like they thought that through, you know? Like, it seems more malicious.
It's more malicious if a girl cheats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
I feel like different. I feel like a guy could just like make a mistake, but I feel like women know when they do something. Like, they know that they're backstabbing you. They know, you know?
Women are like more emotional. They cheat more emotionally.
Don't cancel me for that.
No, I don't think I'll be canceled for that. Like, that's tea. Like, I mean, that's just tea. Like, this is the truth. Is like, women are way more emotionally involved than men are typically. But I mean, I feel like a lot of men are very emotional that I've dated have become very emotionally invested in me, and I'm very like kind of like not.
But maybe you just haven't met the right person yet that you like.
I have been. There have been guys who I have been very emotionally attached to, but
and then does it usually end for like a similar reason when you don't end up together?
I normally like can't handle the pressure of the monogamy, and I'll like find a way to self-sabotage. I'll like cheat to get out of the relationship, or like, you know what I mean? Just like a bunch of, you know, I whack things that I do, because I just know it's like unsustainable, and I know it's wrong that I do those things. However, like I guess I don't.
At least
I
you're
guess I don't
honest.
care.
You know what I mean? As long as
I'm very honest and upfront though. I've told every guy before I've cheated on them that I'm like feeling like the relationship is coming to a close, and like that I feel really uncomfortable, and that I need space, and like whatever. Like, I'm leading to that. I'm alluding to the fact that we're going to break up.
Yeah.
Before
that's good. And as long as there's not a double standard too of like, oh, I can do this, but you can't do that, you know? No,
there's not.
Yeah.
You know, but at that point, I'm like, I don't want to like have my cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? I just sort of like the natural progression of relationships. Like, for me, is just sort of like, we have this connection. It's great. And then like, maybe it just doesn't work out. And like, I'm cool with it just not working out. Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
How long does it take you to get over someone? You're like a day, maybe. I feel like I cannot picture you being heartbroken. Like, crying over someone.
I've never been heartbroken. Wow. I think I probably need to have my heart broken to like humble me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But no. Have you ever had your heart broken?
Oh my God, 100%. Yeah. Like twice, 3 times.
How do they break your heart? In what way?
I think I have like abandonment issues. So like things just don't work out sometimes. But I think that for me, it goes into like my self-worth of like, oh, everyone's gonna leave me, and you know, I can't even sustain this, and blah blah blah. Like, I just spiral.
I'm a failure. Yeah, like, I couldn't even say. It's like when Kim Kardashian like had the mental breakdown, and she was like, "You think I wanted this? Like, I like didn't want to lose. Like, I don't want to get into another divorce."
Oh, with Kanye. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like when she's like crying, or like
yeah. I mean,
we love Kim Kardashian crying. I love to see her cry.
I literally, when we cry, I have like the same exact ugly ass facial expression. Like, it's very funny.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a good Kim K.
I love that show. I'm kind of sad it's ending.
I was like never a big fan.
No?
I mean, I find like all of them to be so insufferable. I only like Courtney and Chris.
Yeah.
Courtney, Chris, I like that she's like cunty and like.
Yeah, she could have her.
I really feel like me and Courtney would probably get along very well. Yeah. And then like Kendall Jenner is like so milquetoast, like boring as hell.
Yeah.
And she just kind of is like bitchy. She's
exists.
I know her. I know I've met her and worked with her in person, so I can speak from like a personal perspective that she's also just like the way she's just like not.
Is she
she's like
social
not
with
cool.
anyone?
No.
Yeah.
She used to come backstage and just like not speak to anybody and just like kind of stand there and be like.
Do you think it's because she like knows like I'm Kendall Jenner?
Yes, it's she has like a heightened sense of self, but in like a negative way. Like she definitely is sort of like, you know, I don't like speak to these other models because I am Kendall Jenner. It's very much that energy, and I really don't fuck with the fact that also she like went on to like Frontline or whatever, like not 60 Minutes. She didn't do a 60 Minutes interview, but she did some sort of like interview about her like modeling.
Oh,
and she was like, I work so hard, and like my agency is so picky, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, sis, Like you're like the last one to show up to every show. You know what I mean?
The tea.
Like she is though. Like she's like, she never shows up at the call time for the show. She's always like there like an hour before the show, and that's cool if you're like Naomi Campbell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you're like a model who's been doing it for like decades. I think it's like way less cool when she does it. And she gets away with it because she's like, you know, famous. And also like, let's be real, like she's a pretty girl. She's not like, if she wasn't a Kardashian, no one would like look at her twice.
There are so many models that are way more
attractive than her.
And look more like models than her.
Yeah. You know? I mean, like her facelift that she had done.
It looks
like,
good. I want the
love
fox eye.
I love her fox eyes look great.
Her, like,
I'll give her that.
filler here. I want that.
Yeah.
Like, they all have this puff now. When they smile, it's all like.
Yeah. I mean,
money.
I don't know. She also has like access to like, I'm sure like every photo shoot for the most part that she's in, she probably has a hand in the retouching or something. Yeah. She has like a team that's sort of like, okay, like we want her to like look this way and like whatever. And like, you know, so I think she's just like a very curated person, but she has like no personality. And like she came out with this tequila, which I'm desperate to try. I really want to try the tequila.
I feel like everyone's
I want to hate it, but I want to buy
everyone's hating on the branding, and I feel like, I mean, I don't know how people like feel.
Who
like,
cares? Every other like this I don't care about.
No, I don't.
Every male celebrity has like an alcohol.
Yeah, literally.
Like what does George Clooney fucking know about tequila? And he like has his own tequila.
Isn't it George Clooney and Kaya Gerber's dad? They own it together.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
These nepotism models.
I know. Okay, I think Kaya Gerber's stunning though. Do you?
Yeah, she's really beautiful.
But she's naturally beautiful. She's always looked like that.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah. So
I'm more of a fan of her mother.
Her mother was more of like a whole energy. She had more like sex appeal.
Yeah, Cindy Crawford is like a once in a millennium face.
Yeah.
Kaya Gerber's like very beautiful and like a great model, but like.
Do you think it's the energy of Cindy, or do you literally think like bone structure?
It's the face. I just think like the faces are different, and yeah, I just think it's like you know, I don't know. It's also a taste thing. It's like my personal taste.
Yeah,
I always felt like Cindy just looked like so much of like a woman. You know
she
what I mean?
always
Kaya
did.
always kind of looks like a little bit more like of a girl.
But do you
like
think maybe she'll grow into that? Maybe. I don't know.
I guess Cindy I don't care.
Cindy was modeling for even when she was really young.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, of all of the nepotism models, she's like definitely the least.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So how is it working with like, besides Kendal Jenner, like other models who are like famous outside of modeling, or you know what I mean?
Corny.
Yeah.
You know, it's just sort of like, I mean, I grew up in an era of models that were all so like unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just can't put any of these nepotism models next to like a Natasha Poly or a Sasha Pivovavra or a Lindsay Wixon. It just doesn't make sense. Like those girls had such unique, stunning, beautiful faces. And you know, these girls are like very pretty, but just not like a once in a millennium, once in a million face. Not that I even have that. Like, I'm not saying like, and I'm not coming from a place of like, well, I have like a 1 in a million face. You know what I mean?
You also have worked very hard to be where you're at and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I also, part of the reason why I was so successful was because like every designer could tell how much I loved fashion.
Yeah.
You know, like I had an opinion and I cared a lot about the clothes, and like I think they saw that in me. It's not because I was like the most attractive whatsoever. Also, I had like the right look for that moment as well. Because like when I started modeling, it was kind of like the cool girl era where it was like Lexi Bowling and like Issa Lish and like
Binks Walton.
Yeah, like those kind of girls. So it was like
I don't know. Oh, you're not friends with her, right? I saw the flicker in the eye.
You saw my eye twitch. I got triggered when you said her name. Molly Blair. So it was like an era where like models were just sort of like a little bit more alien looking, and just like a little bit more androgynous,
and like the Duval look for you.
Yeah, my Shelley Duvall like really came out.
Okay,
but you know, I think those girls, like, regardless of my opinions of their personality, they are beautiful and look like models and are very
they're
looking.
So unique looking. Like, I think like
exactly.
One of my big issues with modeling is like, I'm pretty, but I'm not like I'm conventionally pretty. Like, even though I'm mixed, I'm like
You're
normal.
like movie pretty.
Yeah, there's nothing like interesting about me. Like, I don't have like an interesting eyebrow bone, or like I'm just like normal pretty, you know. And
Which
then
is probably why I'll become super famous. You know what I mean? Because I feel like being like, I feel like, you know, the only place for that kind of beauty is in fashion. Like, that really kind of like.
But I would look like
beauty.
when I would go to castings, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not booking this. But like, I would look at and I'm like, I swear to God, that girl is going to be in the show. And every single time, it's just like that Amazonian, like.
Yeah, you can tell.
Just like otherworldly, you know?
Yeah. Like you can.
I'm more like trophy wife vibe.
But that's a vibe nonetheless. That's a good vibe to have. There are a lot of women who are trophy wives.
What do you feel though with like, you know, social media and plastic surgery and all of this stuff? Like, you can just buy a face, and I feel like, you know, there's the whole body positivity movement. Like, how do you think that like the whole, because I feel like you were at the tail end of high fashion being what it has been, you know what I mean, where you know, you do all the markets, you become like successful, but like now I feel like it's different. It's like kind of fake and about followers, and like you could just buy a new face.
I bought in a new face.
Yeah, but you were working before you bought a new face.
Yeah, I was like a top model prior to me having any surgery.
Yeah.
I don't know
or just
how
you
to
think
feel
it's
about it. I mean, I just think I think it's fucked up. Like, to be honest, I think like pictures are way less interesting now with these girls. Like, they are just. Yeah, it's just fashion. Fashion in general has gotten so fucking bad that like, and so not creative anymore.
I love that
so
episode
corporate.
where you roast Fashion Week.
Yeah,
it was so good.
But like, you know what I mean? It's just sort of like fashion is just in a very bad place right now in general. So like, I feel like the models are kind of also like a reflection of how bad it's gotten.
Why do you think
know
fashion's gone so bad?
Because it's all about money now, and it's like it's not about like making art anymore. I mean, of course, there's some Nicolas Guesquier still makes art. You know, like there are some brands that still do it, but like Prada used to be such an artistic brand. It used to be like so cutting edge and so interesting, and now it's like producty and like very corporate and like kind of basic. And like now when I see like girls walking around in those like those Prada platform boots,
oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like I'm like gagging in my mouth.
That
like,
and the little like knapsack thing that everyone has.
It's just corny, and like they've totally played into like the hype beast aesthetic, which is so like
100%.
It's not my thing. But moving on from talking about modeling, I could talk shit about these people all day. But like we really have things to discuss.
We do.
Should we look at the
list? I don't have my phone, so you tell me what the list is.
I have the list in front of me. So okay, we've lesbian dating. We've discussed. We talked about Demi Lavato coming out as non-binary. Let's talk about no police at Pride.
Okay.
So there is going to be no police at Pride this month, allegedly, and we are in Pride Month right now.
Yeah, because it's technically going to be like a protest this year rather than a festival. Right?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this? I'm pretty conflicted.
It's like, can you even have a thought these days?
I have a thought. Like, this is the place to be honest, you know?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, honestly, TBH, I haven't gone to a Pride in like 3 years.
I don't go to like Pride. Pride parades ever. I've never been to one.
Exactly.
Because I'm homophobic, actually. I hate gay people.
So I don't know. I think kind of like there was only 1 year where I was like into all gay things and pride flags and all of that, and then when I was
it's like the year you come out, you're like, yes queen.
But now like I couldn't give a fuck even about like a lesbian bar. Like I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I want to be with someone, I want to be with someone. If I just gay is not like at the top of my list of things anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just who I am. Like I just feel like it's now like I mean, it's annoying like having to always come out when you're femme, and I'm sure like you always have to come out too, or like I don't know if you feel
do you feel flattered when like straight guys flirt with you?
When they're not like weird, yeah. Like I think.
Do you ever entertain the idea of maybe like trying? I know, because you've never been with a guy before.
No,
right?
I'm a gold star.
You're a gold. You're a gold star.
Which means you've never had sex with the opposite sex. No, I honestly really haven't considered it. Like, I just know I love girls so much, and I feel so grounded, like, in my sexuality. But I guess, like, if someone says, like, oh my God, you're so pretty, like, that's still, like, everyone likes to feel beautiful. You know what I mean? It can be an ugly guy. It can be, like, an attractive guy. It could be a gay guy who, like, has no interest in me. Like, if he's like, oh my God, you're gorgeous, like, that obviously feels, like, really good. But with I mean, I totally get, like, being obsessed with pride and, like, being so happy to see flags all around, and, like,
it's a great thing that we're like we finally have freedom and, like, some equity in society, which we hadn't had for so long. So it's refreshing. It's refreshing, and it's also it's a good thing to celebrate.
Of course.
However, like being gay or trans is, like, does not define my entirety of my identity.
That's not the most interesting thing about you. And me being gay is not the most interesting thing about me. And I feel like,
for some people it is, though. For some people they're like, that gay guy.
Oh my God, like gay
transgender person.
Are you on gay TikTok at all? Like, mine is like lesbian TikTok these days. I think because
I get gay. Like a trans video like once in a while, but it will typically be like some kind of like trans bashing video, and I'm like, ugh. And, like, it just like they just show me stuff that makes me angry all the time. They show me, like, you know.
Okay, well, not that.
Yeah, I don't.
But mine
is
like
good. They must think I'm like, maybe it's because I like watch it because it infuriates me or something.
Yeah,
like,
I think they know how long you watch a video.
Stuff that, like, I hate watch. It's not because I, like, actually agree. Or
mine is like lesbians and then conspiracy theories, and I'm like, where I don't even Google these conspiracy theories. I'm like,
I don't even care.
It's where, like, aliens are walking around and like lizard people, and I'm like, what is happening? But anyway, I feel like there's so many in the lesbian community. Just I understand being proud of being gay, but, like, can we get to a point where, like, it's just normal and there are other interesting things about us? Like, why does every TikTok have to be about how you're gay and how you have a gay friend group? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, maybe I'm not trying to say, like, I'm more mature, but I guess I feel so comfortable in my sexuality that I do not need to talk about it all the time. Like, if someone has a question, sure, like, I'll totally answer, I'll totally talk about it. But, like, I didn't even know this month was Pride Month. Like,
Pride Month is always June.
I know.
Idiot.
Well, my birthday's in June. So.
Oh, my birthday. When's your birthday?
I just had it 2 days ago.
Oh my God. Happy
15th.
birthday.
Yeah, I'm 22. Old.
You're 22?
Yeah, I feel so old.
You're such a child. Oh my God. I'm turning 27. I had no idea you were so young.
How old did you think I was?
Like, maybe 25.
No.
You're just mature for your age.
I think I'm pretty. I mean, I hate to, like, because I feel like everyone's like, I'm mature for my age, and I think I have in certain areas of my life, like, I'm kind of stunted. Like, I'm still working on the whole, like, money thing and figuring, like, how to invest and all that stuff. But I think that I'm driven, and I think that can make up for, like, my lack of maturity in other ways.
Yeah, I am so bad with money. Like, I've
heard.
Danielle talks a bunch of shit about my spending habits.
Not that much. She just talked about your tax stuff once.
Oh yeah. I always have, like, crazy tax issues because my taxes are always so high.
But nothing against Pride. I don't mean anything against Pride, and we can get into the police stuff. But yeah, I think it's just kind of like, even, like, I feel the same way about race. You know what I mean? Like, I know there are discussions that need to be had, but can there be a point where it just, like, we're just totally integrated and we don't have to talk about it all the time? You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like white people are pointing out to me that I'm Black and I have to feel like a certain way in this moment. Yeah. And, like, I am Black, so I don't need you to tell me how to feel. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure you get that too as a trans woman. Like, certain people are like, well, you're trans, so this is how you need to feel in this specific moment. People who aren't even part of your community.
Trans people, like, for whatever reason, are treated like they're a monolith and, like, a thought and opinion.
That's how I feel about Black people.
Yeah, it's like, exactly. It's like, you know, when Joe Biden's like, if you ain't voting for me, you ain't Black.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just sort of like, stop telling people how they're supposed to fucking feel about something. Like, they're Black, but they are not.
Everyone's different, and I just,
it doesn't mean everybody thinks the same way because their skin color is the same, or they have the same experience because their skin color is the same. Just, like,
Because, like, to me, that's racist. To assume that
yes,
because
that is
everyone
super racist.
who has more melanin in their skin believe all of the same things. You know what I mean? And experience things in the same way. Because sometimes I feel like I'll have experiences.
Candace Owens is also black, like we point out. So, and she's like,
she's interesting.
Yeah, she's a trip.
She's
but,
such a trip.
One sec, I'm gonna light up a Camel Crush. Mm-hmm. Has this one already been crushed? My Camel Crush has already been crushed.
You crush it? That's the point.
Yeah, you crushed like the little menthol ball in it. Joe Biden. Speaking of Joe Biden, he's going to ban
cigarettes.
Menthol cigarettes. Apparently.
Why?
I don't know, because he's a piece of shit, and I know smoking is bad for you, but like I actually want to die. So
you do.
Yeah.
Do you
I
see yourself?
Die young. Just kidding. I don't really, but like I don't care.
Do you
like,
see yourself living old?
I could live to like a Jane Fonda 80. If I'm in that shape. Like, I feel like 80 is the cut off.
You don't want to live older than that.
No, absolutely not. Like, what? For what? Because I like, no.
Yeah.
I want to die with my brain intact. For sure. I don't want to become demented. And like, once you become demented, then you don't want to die because you're like constantly forgetting like
that you're
old. Demented.
Yeah. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. Yeah, no, me too. I just want to, like, I don't want to look really gross. I'm not saying that all old people look gross because they don't, but I just, if I'm like not there and I'm like not taking care of myself anymore because I'm not really there and I'm like in a nursing home, I'm like, what's the point of me?
I refuse to be in a nursing home.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather launch myself off of a building than be in a nursing home.
Do you think you're going to get married one day?
I'm open to the idea of it.
Like, would you want someone to be able to take care of you?
No.
No, you just
I like that's you might as well be in a nursing home then. Like maybe for a little bit. Like maybe if I'm like, okay, let's just say I get like cancer, which I mean it's likely, or something.
Yeah.
And if I had a partner and I was like, if it was terminal, I'd want to spend like that last 6 months or last year of my life with that person and have them maybe take care of me for like the final month when I'm like bedridden or like whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I just get assisted suicide. I'm pro assisted suicide. I know.
That's like someone like watch like.
That's like when you like it's legal in some states where you can like you have to have like a terminal illness like and it has to be like approved by a set of a board of doctors or whatever that like you're just going to die a painful horrible death essentially.
Yeah.
And like you can like take a bunch of pills that essentially kill you.
The weird thing with that though,
but I know you're Catholic, but I'm also Catholic.
I'm Christian, not Catholic.
Oh, you're a Christian. I'm a Catholic.
Well, okay, this is my thing. Also, okay, I do feel like even though I'm pretty like I'm Christian, I do feel like there must be exceptions to the whole suicide thing because like there are so many different bad situations you could be in and need to like kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like it can't just be like, okay, like let's say the world's ending and you're like, fuck, like I'm starving. Like let me just like end it. You know what I mean? Like, are you gonna go to hell for that? No, I don't think so.
I'm already going to hell for being transgender.
No, you're not. You're going to heaven.
Do you believe in hell? Do you believe in heaven and hell?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. I was like a weird kid. I would have like visions and shit. You can see that being part of me.
I don't know. I definitely don't believe in heaven or hell. I believe like in probably either nothing happens when you die, which I think is great. Yeah. Because like I actually love sleeping. Like when I sleep and I don't have a dream, it's like amazing. Yeah. It's like so peaceful. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I think like that's like
I don't really like dreaming, but I hear you dream every single time. Even if you don't remember a dream, maybe you think you don't dream, you're always dreaming because your brain is still there.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps, but when I can't remember my dreams and it just feels like blackness and emptiness, like that feels the most peaceful to me.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So I don't like, you know, I'm pro.
Yeah.
I'm pro like
You're pro nothing.
I'm pro nothing.
Yeah.
But also I think like there's a chance that like, you know, we're all energy and like when you die that energy leaves your body. There could just be another dimension that we go to. Like, you know, we might be living on one plane of existence and then like when we die we go to a different.
I believe in that.
Yes,
stuff.
I believe in that.
And like I believe that there is some way to time travel. Because if there are multiple dimensions, then like That's the only thing that makes sense.
You're the wrong guest to talk about this. We were supposed to talk about the police at Pride. So
wait, but I had one question though.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, about assisted suicide.
Okay, yeah, sure. How did we get on this? We were going to talk about like Pride issues, and now we're talking about assisted suicide.
But okay, my thing about like taking all those drugs to die is that no one's done it before. Like you don't know if you don't feel nothing. That's my thing.
People have done it before.
And come back to life?
And come back to life? No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you know it's actually a peaceful death? Because no one has actually...
I think it's like the most peaceful it possibly can be. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like they know if a death is peaceful or not.
What would
like,
be the scariest way to die for you?
I think they go to sleep and they just don't wake up. It's like an opioid overdose or something. Like similar.
But maybe
to
that's
that.
the worst type of death.
It's not, because you're like, what happens when you overdose on opioids is you are so like relaxed you forget to breathe. Like you can't breathe. Like you like lose like function of like your whatever. And if you're like if you're blacked out and like you can't breathe, like you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna be conscious of the fact that you're dying.
Yeah. Oh my god, your eyes are amazing. I'm hitting on you right now.
Are you hitting on me, Sienna? Are we gonna make out?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, what would be the worst way to die for you? And then we'll talk about like police and Pride.
The worst way to die?
Yeah.
I have like two pretty bad fears.
Mm-hmm.
One is like burning alive, which scares me because I feel like I was a witch in a past life and I was like burned at the stake or something.
Yeah. Oh, you believe in that? Past lives?
Past lives. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Sometimes dogs look like they are humans, and sometimes
yeah,
I'm
like I think that, you know, when people are like, "Oh, you're an old soul" or something, I'm like, "Am I an old soul?"
I feel like
you know what I
an
mean?
old soul.
What?
I feel like your appreciation of art. I mean,
I feel like an old soul.
There's like a vibe about like you that feels like you've been around the block.
Maybe I have been, so I don't know. But I feel like if there is such thing as a past life, I feel like I was like a witch in a past life and I was like burned at the stake. So I'm just like scared of like, that's like one way I don't want to die.
Yeah.
The other way I would not like to die, I think, is like, okay, like I don't want to be decapitated either.
Oh my God.
Like I don't want to have my head cut off.
I feel like you still feel it even when your head's cut off.
I don't mind having my throat slit, but I don't want my head cut off.
Oh my God. See.
I don't want to be like brutally, like I don't want my body to be mutilated. Like I don't want to like, you know, like get hit by a train and like, first of all, another crazy thing that happened. I was taking the Amtrak back home to Massachusetts and somebody jumped in front of my train and killed themselves. I didn't see anything, but it was like it actually was even though I didn't see anything, it was very traumatizing to know that like 20 feet in front of me, somebody's body was exploded all over the place by a train. And like the police had to come and like do an investigation and like clean up the remains. And apparently this happens very frequently. Like this is how a lot of people kill themselves, is they jump in front of like high-speed trains.
I saw that. I was on a train where a guy was trying to do it, and I was on the cart, and he was like in between the two carts.
Yeah.
And he was dangled his body off the end, and he was like a homeless guy, and he was having a fight. He was black, and he was having a fight with like a white guy, and the white guy was like, "You should just kill yourself." And he was like, "You want me to kill myself?" So he like dangles off the side of the train, and like I was like, damn, this is how I handle these situations. I just closed my eyes because I really thought he was gonna do it.
like sometimes like you see somebody like on the edge of that, then you're like
yeah. And one woman tried to like intervene, and then like it was like God worked, and we entered like Union Square like right when he.
Yeah. The other way I don't want to die is like via Alzheimer's, like losing
terrifying.
losing. I know, because it's so common, like losing like everything. Like I mean, I'm already basically demented. I can't remember jack shit.
Does it run in your family?
Yeah. No, Alzheimer's, no.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
It doesn't run in my family, but my like aunt had like a very rare like unknown degenerative neurological disease called primary progressive aphasia, where that's like how they labeled it, but she lost everything. She like couldn't look at a fork, and like she didn't like she'd be sitting at a dinner table and she'd look at a fork and she like didn't know how to use a fork. You know what I mean? It was
I'd rather
I'd
rather be dead.
I guess I'd rather burn alive than that, maybe.
Yeah.
But maybe burning alive is like really, at some point it's probably really painful for like the first 30 seconds of it, and then like you're probably, when your nerves get burned off and you're just like, at that point you're just dead.
Cooking. Yeah.
You're just cooking. And then also rabies. I've always had a huge fear of rabies.
Really?
It's like a horrible way to die. Don't Google it.
Like,
but also, like, if you get bit by a wild animal, like, you need to go get a rabies shot. Like, when I see people, like, in the park feeding squirrels and stuff, I'm like, you are on crack. Really? Or, like, people, like, when they're drunk, like, trying to play with raccoons and stuff. It's like, dude, you do not want to get rabies. Like, rabies is, like, a horrible. Does it eat your
brain or something?
It makes you go crazy. Like, you go crazy and you, like, lose all your motor functions. It's sort of like as if you had, it's like a neurological, it's a virus that basically kills off your nerves in your brain essentially, but does it in a very specific way, like a zombie-esque. Like that's like where zombies come from essentially. But like it's just no. Okay. It's just like that's not a good way to go.
No. I think like anything that involves like losing your mind is just like a horrible thing because it's like at least die you know what I mean? But for me, like heights, like I'm really scared of heights. Like even stairwells, like walking up these stairs, like I always have a fear that I'm gonna like fall off the side and like just topple
heights
down.
Are scary too.
Yeah,
at least it's kind of a quick death though. Like if you fall and hit the ground, like, you're kind of like.
And apparently, like if it's really high, you just have like a heart attack like midway, and you die in the air.
No, maybe you don't die in the air. You probably know it's coming.
Okay, anyway,
because people scream the whole way down.
Oh, true. Oh my God, those 9/11 photos still horrify me. You know,
I know, yeah, it's very haunting. Like, that's definitely a really bad way to go as well.
Well, I just like the decision, like the choice of like, am I gonna jump or am I gonna burn? That's like, imagine that choice.
No, it's so bad. Oh my God, horrible. So police at Pride. Like, can we please discuss this now?
Yeah. Well, okay, I want to know what your feelings are on it first.
Here's my feelings on police at Pride. I think that, like, I understand the sentiment of why people don't want police at Pride because obviously, like, via body cam footage and everybody recording things with their phones, like, we've noticed that, like, many police are highly unqualified, violent, vicious, 100%. Fucked up people who should not be in that line of work. Yeah. I don't think that is the majority of police officers. I think that, like, I think that there are less bad police officers than there are good ones. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think there are more good cops. The ratio is more good cops to bad cops. Yeah. However, like, they don't hold each other accountable, and so in that way
it's like a boys club.
Yes, and so in that way they're all like complicit in it as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Like if you're not going to hold each other accountable and you're in a line of fire where you have essentially a license to kill and you have qualified immunity, like, that's super fucked. So I would say for this moment in history, especially with the way that police have treated gay people in the past and the way that, like, Stonewall started off as like a police riot. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like essentially like a riot against the cops. So like the police have, for the most part, always been on the wrong side of history. Yeah. And like now they're all Trump supporters too. And it's like I'm transgender and I've seen the way that they treat trans people. Mm-hmm. So like, actually I'm pretty like, I'm not pro police. I think police are necessary. I just think that like we need serious police reform and they need to like, I think they need to know that like they're kind of not welcome in certain spaces. Yeah. And I like think they should know that like if you want that they need to fix their image. Yeah. They need to hold each other accountable and they need to regain the trust of society before they can step back into those spaces. And I would say I don't believe in like the safe space thing or whatever, but a pride parade is a safe space for gay people, and like it has to remain that way. And if people feel threatened or triggered or whatever by cops, like that's a thing that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. I think it should also be harder to become a cop. I just feel like it's not that hard because I know like the crazy boys from my school, like the ones that were like really weird, all became cops.
Yes.
And one of them had like a crush on me like in high school. I never gave him my number like ever. Yeah. I got a text during quarantine being like, hey, and I'm like, who's this? And he said his name and I was like, he must have gotten it from his new cop job because we have no mutual friends. There's no way he could have gotten my number.
It takes like 6 months to become a cop.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts.
It takes 6 months to get a license to kill, and you can just have that license to kill for like the rest of your life. Like, are you crazy?
It's nuts. And
that's why I think a lot of bad people become cops. Because I think like a lot of bad people,
with like, anger issues.
Yeah, people who sort of were like the bullied kids in high school, or were had no power when they
Yeah.
were younger kind of feel like they're taking back the power
Yeah.
by becoming cops and then wielding that against others.
Yeah.
Or like they have like really malicious intentions. Like people who are like, you know, racists or KKK members historically have been like the police.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
and I do think that there are certain situations that, like, I know that there are bad cops, but sometimes I'm like, I'm grateful that cops exist. Like if I'm in a sketchy area and I see like a cop nearby, like I do feel like safer than if there's like no one around.
At the end of the day, like, who are you gonna call? Like, if somebody breaks into your house and there's no cops there to help you, like, you're fucked. Like, police are a very important part of maintaining like order.
I just think it needs to be harder to become a cop, and it
yes,
just needs
exactly.
to be more like, I don't know, maybe you need more education. I don't know.
So you agree, with my sentiment of like you think that this is my final say on this is I feel like in order for cops to be able to wear the uniform at Pride again and for us to accept them back into that space, they need to win back the trust of our people in society.
I would completely agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Because also, yeah, like you said, like Pride,
there'll be cops there for sure. They just won't be in uniform.
Oh yeah,
Mm-mm.
that'll be interesting. I feel like Pride is a safe space, so people need to feel like they can be themselves, and with a bunch of cops around. Because I remember the last time I went, the person I went with, a girl, like she was like friends with like the sheriff or something of the NYPD, and so we were around like a bunch of cops, and I did like clock that it's like just they had like a whole like march too, like they had their own section, like the cop section of going down the thing, and it was like, okay, but like, is this the space for that? Like, do we need cops here?
How many gay cops are there is what I want to know. Probably a few lesbian cops.
Who
knows?
All the women are probably.
I don't know about that. I mean, but yeah, I think, yeah, for sure.
I find firefighters so hot.
Oh, I do too.
There's something about, they're just so not controversial. Like, they go into the
They don't
fire.
kill anybody.
They don't kill anybody.
They don't kill anybody. There's no guns involved. All they do is save people.
Yeah.
I have respect for EMTs and I have respect for firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
I have respect for good cops too. I think that there are a lot of good cops out there, and I think that they definitely like.
I just think that good cops need to hold bad cops accountable.
Yes,
and that I don't feel like that happens. I feel like all the stuff that's coming out, it's like random people.
Hopefully that's changing though. Hopefully, like sort of like the tone is changing, and I felt like cops felt like protected by Donald Trump and being in office, and like now he's not in office anymore, and I hope that like that sort of realigns their you know agendas. Another interesting Pride thing is like, have you seen the conversation about banning kink at Pride?
No, I actually haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
I'm sorry, I haven't.
Well, there's like this whole thing that's going on right now where people are discussing like, is it appropriate to have kink at Pride? Like, because like kids should be able to come to Pride or whatever. So like people are having like a dialogue about whether it's appropriate for like people to express kink at Pride. But I'm like, that's always been like.
That's been a huge part of Pride. Like I wore.
That's always been a huge.
I wore a bra to Pride.
Yeah, exactly. It's like being part of Pride is embracing sexuality.
Yeah,
and
it's not just about like gay people, trans people. It's about
sexual liberation.
Yeah.
So
don't bring your kid.
Exactly. If you like don't want your kid to see a gay man in assless chaps.
Yeah.
If you don't want your kid to see a gay man in ashless chaps, like stay home.
Yeah, it's not a requirement for as a gay person or trans person or a non-binary person to. Am I doing something?
No.
To be at Pride, like, it's not a requirement. Like you can celebrate the whole month and however you want to. I think that people should be able to do what they want to do and not worry that there's like a 5-year-old around.
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever. I mean, like if don't suck like a cock in the middle of the street. Like that's weird. Like that's over the top. But like whatever, like wear whatever you want to wear.
Yeah,
like who cares? You want to wear a G-string and like a rainbow G-string, like do it.
What do you think about all these corporations having like their Pride shit?
I think it's like obviously super gimmicky. However, it's like the only time of year where like gay people actually get paid for stuff. I like book a lot of work during Pride because I'm trans. Yeah, because I'm a trans ally, advocate, activist. And so I just sort of am like, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish people just supported the gay community all year round and it wasn't allocated to just like, we're celebrating Pride this month and like whatever. It just feels
That's how I feel about Black
History Month. It feels like just sort of like you know, a desperate ploy to seem woke and like whatever.
Well, and it's like
and we know you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's pretty empty.
Yeah, because a bunch of brands will do it. Then if a brand doesn't do it, then it's like, what's wrong with them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not coming from a place of like actually.
I don't think if a brand doesn't do it, it's like, what's wrong with them? Like, who cares?
But I feel like some people probably feel that way.
Some people,
like you haven't acknowledged that is pride, and so then they do a pride thing, and then but that doesn't mean like who knows who works. What their beliefs are. And stuff, you know?
Definitely. Should we move on to Caitlyn Jenner running for governor?
Oh my God, sure.
Where
thoughts on Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner is like an interesting person who like accomplished amazing things in her life as an amazing Olympic athlete, and like, you know, like I have like a lot of respect for Caitlyn Jenner as an athlete and as somebody who had the courage to come out in such a public way in the public eye. However, like Caitlyn Jenner like has no substantive policy agenda like that I've seen. Like every interview I've heard, it's sort of just like Gavin Newsom like is you know, Gavin Newsom and trans people shouldn't be able to compete in sports and like just like a bunch of surface level bullshit. And I'm just sort of like, okay, but like what meaningful change are you bringing to
100%
California citizens other than like you're not Gavin Newsom? Because like Gavin Newsom, like he sucks, like whatever. Like how are you gonna be any better?
Do you remember when Caitlyn was like, I don't believe in gay marriage? Like that was so weird.
Whatever. Like Caitlyn's a grifter.
What's a grifter?
A grifter. Like a grifter is just somebody who sort of like toes a party line, like even if they don't truly 100% believe in what they're saying, like just because like they know that it's like going to get them like praise from their own party. Like for example, like Tucker Carlson is like a grifter, like any of these like Fox News personalities. Like I don't think they genuinely believe, like, you know, they're all vaccinated probably and they're all out here espousing like anti-vax views because like that's what their base wants to hear, like that's what the viewers want to hear. They're not like, it's not like they all like most like conservative pundits all echo like the same opinions. You know what I mean? There's like not a lot of diversity of thought. Like they all sort of like agree with each other and like repeat the same points over and over again. And it's just because like they know that that's like what people are interested in listening to. Like same with like Candace Owens or whatever. Like you know what I mean? She's like she started off being like, she I don't quote me on this, but she like reported this kid for calling her like the N-word or something in high school. And then she like flip-flopped on it, and now she's like hardcore conservative, but she was like at one point like very like liberal and like.
It was really weird because I listened to her back then like talk about it like years ago because I was like curious, and then I listened to her talk about it now, and she was like, that wasn't racist. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty positive that she said that wasn't racist. Like that's her thought on it now, and I'm like, okay, like what I hate is like, I feel like conservatives will just say like the opposite of everything. It's like not thought. It's just like if something
she's a provocateur,
then like no, it's not racist. Like what about it is racist? It's just the culture, or like I'm like what?
Yeah, they're definitely like provocateurs more than they are like, you know.
It's like their own cult.
The critical thinkers or thought leaders. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, the conservative mindset is definitely very culty. Like one thing I will say is like a lot of like liberals are able to hold themselves and hold other people in their own political party to account. Like I know a lot of liberals who like don't fuck with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
For example, like Trump is like a god to these people, and like
100%.
He can do no wrong. Like I have nothing he does.
He even said he was like, I could shoot a baby in the face and still have my
thing. He was like, I can just shoot a guy in the middle of the street and like
he said a baby.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Did he?
Yes.
No, I don't think he did.
I swear he said baby. We'll find it.
I think he said I could just shoot. He said I could shoot a man in the middle of the street and like I wouldn't lose any followers. I don't think he said I could shoot a baby.
I swear. Can you look it up?
I'm not looking it up, but I'm pretty sure. I'm like almost 100% sure that he did not say I could shoot a baby in the face.
And what was it about him that people loved so much? Like maybe it was just like the stark contrast.
I think like it was so many things. I think people I think it was definitely like a backlash to
Obama's era.
not just like the era of Obama, but just like woke culture in general, like people feeling like they were walking on eggshells all the time, and like Trump was sort of like, fuck those people, like I say what I want, I do what I want, like, and I do it without fear, and like those people are pussies. And like, so I think at its core, the reason why Trump was really popular was because he was sort of like anti like liberal extremist.
It was more of like his energy that I think a lot of people liked, because you could ask them like,
he had no like policy like agenda, you know what I mean? He really like not a lot of stuff changed under Trump necessarily. Like he didn't accomplish much. Like like if anything,
but they'll swear that he accomplished like the most.
I mean, yeah, he didn't get us into any wars, which is good, but he was pretty damn close a few times.
Yeah.
Like he was like tweeting at fucking Kim Jong-un. It was just like, dude, why are you doing this? I was like, I really like don't need a nuclear warhead being sent my way in Los Angeles right now. Like,
oh my God.
Shut up,
actually,
please.
LA is like super. When I was there this summer, I was like, this place is scary.
LA is like a third world country now. It's so gross. I like hate it.
The homelessness.
The homeless situation there is terrible.
And I know it's worse than when I was there. Like I was there this summer, and oh my God, like I've never seen anything like it. Like it's sad, and it's so weird because I feel like
it's like a third world country. Like
and
really,
I feel like people get so used to it. Like I would point it out, and like people are like, yeah, and I'm like, there are tents for like miles. I feel like what the fuck.
Definitely, it's
and
like
there are a lot of young people. Like you can't just be like, it's just, people are like bad choices. And I'm like, there's something wrong.
It's really tragic, and
I find LA so expensive.
Yeah, and what's even more disgusting about it is you'll have like Beverly Hills and like down the street, where like they have these multi-million-dollar homes and like a Louis Vuitton store, and then just down the street there's like a homeless encampment. It makes just very perplexing and like bizarre. Yeah.
Why are you leaving LA? Do your fans know you're leaving yet?
My fans?
Yeah.
High fans. I don't have many, I don't think. But
what would be your name? The Quinlivans?
I don't know what I would call them.
The teddy bears.
The bears.
The bears. Oh my God.
I don't know what I would say.
That was actually so cute.
I don't know. Who knows? The Bay Hive.
The Bay.
I like Bay. She has the Bay Hive. Nicki Minaj has the Barbs.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I would.
Believers.
The Believers. I don't know. Like I
think it would be.
I don't know, but I'll ponder something.
Yeah.
I'll think of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like fuck with the vibe of Los Angeles in general. It's like It's a hideous city. It's really ugly. The homeless problem is overrun. It's expensive to live there. Like probably just as expensive as New York.
I find it
I don't have a
expensive.
car there.
Yeah.
Like I've been Ubering everywhere now. Uber's so expensive. I also just like not a lot of like creative people in the way that I like creative people.
Yeah.
Like there are like, there's an amazing music scene there, and there's an amazing like movie scene as well there too. Like there's a lot of like film and that sort of stuff, which I really enjoy. Like not a lot of visual arts. There's some of that too, but I think that I just love the energy of New York. I just think that there's no place else like it. And also, I feel like LA is very soulless. There's like not really a soul there, and New York has like a lot of soul.
I agree with that 100%. Like when I was in Beverly Hills, I've just never seen such a disgusting vibe like emanating from so many people. Just like I saw they were like parking all these like really nice cars. This one guy in front of like the MGM building, and just like the way people were looking at these cars and taking pictures, and I just was like, ew, like I don't know, I don't see that in Soho.
I hate that representation of wealth too.
Yeah,
the flashy representation
like
of
the
wealth.
line at Louis Vuitton, that line outside.
I was like literally waited in one time. Like I waited in that fucking line for like 45 minutes just to go into the store and like not see anything I liked.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's a completely different vibe. I think that LA might be really nice once you've like completely made it and you have property. Then it seems like if you live in the hills or whatever, like there are definitely like beautiful parts. Like of Los Angeles, see myself living there like once like I'm settled and like I have like money, but like I have like my people and I have land.
Yeah.
But as like someone who's like on their grind trying to make it, it's just a toxic vibe. And I love being in a city where
New York is toxic too in its own ways.
Yes.
Like New York has a lot of issues. I'm not saying that like New York is not without criticism.
I think that there's more culture here in the sense of like you have the height of multiple industries.
There's no culture in Los Angeles.
Exactly.
There's the culture of being famous, I guess. Yeah. Like if you can even call that a culture.
And then everyone wants to be aligned with whoever is like the up and coming
yes
thing.
There are like exactly like my experience in Los Angeles is that there are like people who there are people who are desperate to be famous, and then like when they realize that they can't be famous, they just social climb their way to become part of some famous person's posse.
Yeah
like you're either famous or you're like trying to like everybody there is like trying to become,
they're trying to be in some sort of friend group,
some sort of clique, trying to chill with some sort of famous person. Like that doesn't really happen in New York. No, I
can't imagine what it's like to be like Addison Rae right now, and how many people just want to be her friend just
because she's like famous or whatever.
She has like followers.
Not me. I don't want to be Addison Rae's friend. I could give two fucks about Addison Rae. I mean, like, I'm sure she's a lovely girl. Like, I'm not like trying to diss her or anything, but like.
But yeah, I mean, you could have a normal conversation with her, but you don't care at all that she.
I don't care at all. I don't think she's like anything special.
What was like the party scene like there for you?
The party scene in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Lots of house parties. I was there for like mostly during COVID, but like prior to COVID, like the few months I was there prior to COVID. Great. Like I kind of really liked the nightlife there. Really? I kind of like the party scene there better than I like it here.
More space too.
Also, I feel like it's less segregated in Los Angeles. Like I would go to parties and there'd be like gay people and straight people and like whatever. Like in New York, I find like the party scene to be very segregated. Like the fashion gays hang out with the fashion gays, and like the butch dykes hang out with the butch dykes, and like the straight finance guys only hang out with straight finance guys. And like it's very like segregated by like, you know, vibe.
100%.
And it's less so that in Los Angeles. So I've had actually quite a bit of fun partying there. And also like the cocaine is way better there.
I hear
than it is in New York.
Have like sections for like if you have like 200,000 followers or something like that. Have you experienced that?
What?
Like, oh, you can go into this section if you have this amount of followers.
No, I don't think that's a real thing. That might just be, I think that's...
Okay.
If that is a thing.
It might be some TikTok bullshit.
I haven't experienced it. Ooh, I just yawned. I'm not like...
also supermodel, so you wouldn't even
But
know.
people don't know I'm like... In New York City, like, people know, like, that I'm a top model. Like, I go to places and, like, the door people, like, kind of, like, know who I am a little bit. Like, so I don't really have, like... I don't have issues getting tables at restaurants here. Like, I don't have issues, like, going to parties here, like, whatever, which is a great thing, and it's, like, an amazing privilege. What I kind of love about Los Angeles is that, like, there I'm a nobody.
You like that more?
At times, it's, like, a little frustrating, but at other times, I really just kind of enjoy being, like, a wallflower. You know what I mean?
Why? Do you think you got used to it, and you're just kind of...
I like not being... I like just being like there and not
people
being
not worshiping
someone
you.
there.
Yeah.
It's not that people worship me here or anything. Like it's not never like that, but it's just sort of like, you know, people are more aware of who I am in New York City just because it's like people are more aware of the fashion industry here. Yeah. Like in Los Angeles, like if I was a famous YouTuber, the way I'm treated in New York as a fashion model, I would be treated in LA as a famous YouTuber. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like not there, so it's like it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So should we move on and like talk to like this is like the last thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what was it? Here we have two we can choose from. Joe Rogan's white male victim complex.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or we could do the sexualization of race. Do you have a preference? Maybe we can like tie them into each other.
We can tie them into each other.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan, bro Jogan.
Bro, he's a bro.
Bro Jogan.
What are your thoughts on him first?
I think he's like a very talented interviewer, and like when he's not talking about his like weird, crazy conservative conspiracy theories, like I can like stomach listening to him. And I think he does ask great questions, and he gets great interviews out of people. Like I've learned a lot listening to his podcast, and I've really, you know, learned about topics I never would have researched on my own via that.
100%.
So like I respect like Joe Rogan for sure.
Yeah.
However, like he became rich, got the Spotify deal, and now he's just sort of like, not that there's anything wrong with like there's nothing wrong with Spotify or getting like a deal or becoming rich or whatever. You can just tell that like he moved to Texas and now he's like way more conservative leaning, and like before it was sort of like you couldn't really tell his political leanings. And now it's quite clear that he's like just a conservative.
Yeah.
And I don't like that he's cool with Elon Musk. Like I don't like that he's like hanging out with like these. I don't understand like this country's glamorization of CEOs and like
and billionaires
and stuff like that. I think that's all like really gross. Like I don't think billionaires are inherently cool or interesting.
It's interesting though, because I feel like Elon Musk, most billionaires like to be like unknown. I feel like they, you know, like they live in.
No, not all of them. Jeff Bezos for sure not. Bill Gates for sure not. Elon Musk for sure not. Okay. Elon Musk I loves like, the attention.
No, that's what I mean. I think
the attention.
But okay, Bill Gates. But they're not like, they wouldn't do SNL. Like Elon Musk will like go on
Maybe
Joe
they
Rogan.
would. Maybe they would if they were asked.
You're right. Actually, I never
Who
considered
knows?
that.
They love the media attention for sure.
It's
Bill
so
Gates is
weird.
like always on TV. Like he's always on CNN and stuff like that. I mean, they love to be revered as like, for whatever reason, like people equate wealth with intelligence, and I just don't equate those things. I think Joe Rogan also does too. Like people are like, he's always like, Elon Musk's brain works in such a crazy way. I'm like, does it really? Like, I don't think he's quite as genius as you think he is. I think he was just like a rich kid who had great ideas and was able to fund those ideas with like the wealth he already had inherited or had. It's not like he like came from a shanty, like in some like, you know, impoverished part of the world. Like his mom was like was a supermodel and like owns like an emerald mine or something. Like he had like access to like vast sums of wealth as a young person, and was able to create, you know, like he has it's not like forever people were talking about electric cars. It's not like electric cars were like his genius idea. He's just the one who executed the idea first. Yeah. You know? And like he's great at branding as well. You know, like he made like Tesla very chic and like elegant and cool. And like he, you know, he's good at some stuff. You know what I mean? And I commend him for that. But I also don't fuck with the way he like manipulates the stock markets and like cryptocurrency value via his Twitter, and like I think he's like up to a lot of shady shit.
Yeah, I heard like the
you should never trust billionaires.
No,
because like AOC, I'm not like the biggest AOC fan. Like I have a lot of respect for AOC, but she said something great, which was like billionaires like never become billionaires on their own. They become billionaires on like the backs of like every employee that they're like underpaying and like. You know what I mean? Like it's you don't just come a
you have to fuck over a few people.
Yeah, you fuck a few.
A lot of
people. You have to step over a lot of people. Like Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world because he like doesn't pay his employees anything, and they like work and squander. You know?
Grimes. Like what? I don't get it. Why? What do you? That relationship seems so interesting.
So weird.
Did you listen to her before?
Yeah, I love Grimes. I love her music.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't listen to her. I didn't know who she was until...
Apparently she comes from quite a wealthy family as well.
Maybe they just really...
You know, like whatever. Yeah. Like they both seem like... They're both like clearly on the spectrum. And... they're both on the spectrum, and I think they're both like weird, and like they found love in each other, and like whatever, that's awesome. Like I don't care, like you know, whatever, like I can enjoy Grimes music and separate that, like just like I could buy a Tesla and love a Tesla, but still be like fuck Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not welcome on the Unholy and Curious podcast. He is
not welcome. But
Grimes is. Grimes, if you're listening, you can come here.
Did you see her back tattoos?
I don't know. I don't care.
Okay, but they like look like whip marks. It's crazy. They're all white. Anyway.
Do you think she's into BDSM? Do you think like? Do you think Elon Musk doms her?
I think they switch.
You think they switch? Do you think she like pegs him?
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe. I know that Elon Musk has a big dick, apparently.
Remember when he was with Amber Heard, that actress?
Elon Musk was with Amber Heard.
Yeah.
And now she's with Amber Heard has strange taste in men.
Well, no, she's with a girl.
But she was with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, no, so she was married
and she
to Johnny Depp.
like allegedly like lied about being abused by Johnny
Yeah.
Depp.
So
and,
I
like,
think
she was the one abusing him.
Yeah.
He's like suing her for like
oh god,
$50 million or like something crazy like that.
So she was married to him, and then she was with Elon, and now she's with this girl. I mean,
she's really hot, though. I will give her that.
Oh my god,
she's super hot.
I would, yeah. Joe Rogan, I think he's an amazing interviewer, and why I feel this way, besides the fact that he is like has a #1 podcast, is because there are topics that I literally could not give one fuck about.
Yeah.
And he will make me care and listen, and I feel like you have to be so good at like getting information out of people in order to like make someone who doesn't give a fuck give a fuck. So I think that's great. I mean, obviously, like you said, I think he's like evolving and getting older, and maybe I don't know, maybe having like so many kids, like he's I don't know, like, or maybe he's always had this conservative side and now it's just like coming out, like living in the South and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe he feels safer.
Yeah, maybe he feels
voicing
safer.
His more conservative views, but he said some like really crazy shit yesterday, not yesterday, excuse me, like recently. He said like, so this is what we wanted to talk about. He said like that like pretty soon it's gonna become unsafe for straight white cisgender males to say anything. Like, this is like if woke culture continues in the way that it's going, and I'm like, you like ignorant idiot, like you have like the world's most like popular podcast on Spotify, and you got $100 million to like have this deal with Spotify, so like please like shut up.
He should if someone has that opinion, what, like, I can't say like someone's opinion, like you can have your own opinion, but I feel like he shouldn't be the one to say that, because he literally like his whole thing is talking.
Yeah, like he is like the most platformed person on earth perhaps
right now. I mean,
and he is a white cisgender male who like literally talks about conspiracy theories and crazy shit all day, uncensored.
Yeah, uncensored.
So like
that
I don't
his
know
episodes
I don't know what he's talking about. Like, you know, I mean, maybe there's cancel culture is like a real thing and it sucks and it's bad. But like nobody's canceling him. Yeah. And if people are, he just can't be. Like, you know what I mean? He has contractual obligations to fill. Like he's not getting off of Spotify anytime soon. No. Like they want their $100 million worth of that guy. Yeah. You know, so like that won't, in his lifetime, that will not happen. And in my lifetime, I'm sure it won't either.
What do you feel about cancel culture, though?
Cancel culture? Like, I mean, I talk about this on my pod a lot. Yeah. I mean, cancel culture is like a really bad thing. Like stifles creativity. It stifles like productive discussion. It's like actually quite a like fascist way of controlling people and getting them to like think in one specific way. And if you don't agree with it, then we're going to deplatform you, and we're gonna like, you know, shame you and like all this stuff, like whatever. Which is dumb. Like there are some people who like, you know, say stuff that is so fucked up that like they should probably just like go away for a while.
Go on a retreat.
Or people should stop giving them a platform. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that should be at the discretion of the people who have, you know, the
Spotify people.
Yeah, or not like or whatever, or Joe Rogan, or like if Joe Rogan thinks like somebody's too controversial to have on his podcast or
just
whatever,
don't have on your podcast.
Don't have them. Like that should be at the discretion of like the interviewer or whoever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think it's a kind of a farce. I can see
your energy fading.
Yeah, that's just only because I'm talking about like cancel culture. I like don't care.
Okay. Just don't talk about cancel culture.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just like everybody knows it's bad at this point. Like,
I hope. Sometimes I feel like some people don't. You know,
whatever.
I feel like sometimes people try to cancel you, and I'm like, what?
People try to cancel me like all the time. I don't care.
That's good.
Like, keep trying. Yeah. Like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably said some stuff on like this podcast like that will, you know, offend people and ruffle feathers, but like just know that I'm just a stupid whore like voicing my opinions about things. It's not like I'm like the you know, I'm not like the authority on most of these topics at all. Yeah. You know, I'm just like somebody who has like an opinion, and I've decided to platform myself on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. I've given myself a platform to be canceled and to espouse my crazy opinions. So like whatever.
You're kind of uncancelable though.
Well, I think like if you just say things that are rational, like how can you be canceled for it? You know what I mean? Like rational, you should not be canceled for like rational thinking. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, like any rational person looks at Demi Lovato and is like, "You're fucking crazy," you know?
There's something
like
off.
Yeah. So 100%. It's like that's not an irrational thing to say.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to cancel me for being like, I'm not going to respect Demi Lovato's pronouns, you should like look at yourself and ask yourself, why are you respecting her pronouns? Like that's more crazy to me.
I love you.
But like really, like I think you're crazy for respecting her pronouns, and I think you're crazy for like indulging like that sick side of like we need to stop indulging people like in their sick twisted bullshit all the time, whether it's Republican, conservative, liberal, like social, like whatever. Like people, like a lot of people say crazy dumb shit, and we just like need to stop giving it energy, and we need to stop pretending
people just
like
don't know when. Like I think maybe you just have like a really good radar for bullshit, but I think that it's hard to tell when someone, for a lot of people.
Well, a lot of people are bullshit. Like the people who I think in large part are defending Demi Lovato share a very similar mindset to her. I'm just using her as an example. But like a lot of times like the people who are defending these really fucked up people, they're in defense of those people because like they see like themselves in them. It's like a way of deflection. It's like when people get called out for sexual assault and they're like, well now like all of our boys are like unsafe or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like because like some girl might just like accuse them of sexually assault. I'm like, really? I'm like, what does that say about you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what does that say about you that you think like you'd be in a position where somebody would even like, you know, falsely accuse you of something like that? You know what I mean? Like just the fact that you have the fear of that happening to you like is indicative of like the fact that you probably have done some fucked up shady shit that you might regret.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you ever feel like, because sometimes for me, I feel like it's people who like aren't necessarily part of the LGBT community and aren't Black or aren't a person of color that tells me how like I should feel about like.
We were talking about this earlier a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like repeating myself.
Oh, it's okay. But I agree with you. Like I think that there are a lot of people out there, especially with the
like,
internet. With the internet, there's like a level of anonymity to it, so it's sort of like just a random anybody with like a keyboard can tell you like what to think or what to feel, and it's typically like the most, you know, like crazy radical thing that like garners the most attention.
Yeah
You can't tell me how to feel about anything. I'm sorry. You know, it's
no,
like
100%.
exhausting. So like Joe Rogan like thinking that he's going to be canceled or whatever is just like dumb. Like
he's not.
He's
like the one person that's uncancelable.
Like,
he's proven to be uncancelable.
Yeah, he is uncancelable. There are a lot of people who are uncancelable. Candace Owens is uncancelable.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's being canceled is a state of mind. I mean, at sometimes, other times, it's like you can really get like, you know. I think humans just need to realize that we are not like perfect vessels of morality, and we didn't like emerge from the primordial ooze like enlightened. Like humans are fucked up, and like we're at the end of the day we are just animals with like this sack of gelatin and cells in our head called a brain, and like not everyone's brain works the same or thinks the same, and there's no right and wrong way necessarily to think. You know what I mean? And it's the standards of that are culture. Like when people are like, oh my god, like it's sexual, like he raped that girl because she couldn't consent because she was 17 and he was 23 or like whatever. It's like that's a cultural that's like a cultural thing. Like the age of consent is like cultural, and it varies by like where you live, like where, you know, like in France, like the age of consent is like 15 or something. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like so it's
it dictates how you feel about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you need to be able to like take a step back and like look at things through the lens of like a more human view than a less cultural view. Like you have to ask yourself, like, do I think that this is wrong because like I've been told my whole life this is wrong?
Yeah.
Or do I think that this is wrong because it's like, because it actually is truly morally reprehensible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like if the age of consent was like 10. Like
if the age of consent was like 13, that would be like fucking weird and like that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like if the age of consent is like 16 or whatever, like which it is for in most states at this point, like whatever, like yeah. I think in most states
I think it's like if you're 16 and they're like 21
or 17 or like,
I think
like whatever.
17, yeah.
But it's sort of like this idea that like you don't have any agency, like personal agency in yourself or like whatever. Like when I was 16, I was going out on dates with way older guys. I used to have like guys like pick not the age of consent thing is like a whole different conversation. Like, and probably we shouldn't get into it, but I mean, like I was 16 years old and I was being picked up by guys in their 30s and being taken out on dates. Like guys would pick me up from my high school and like take me out on dates in Boston. Weird. Yeah, is it weird? Yes. Is it weird that they did that to me? Yes. But I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like I knew what I was doing. Like, and I'm not going to
I think that's the thing. I think that where like the whole consent thing is that like, okay, but do you actually know? Like
I wanted to be hanging out with older guys also. Like I wanted that. Like it's not like I was forced to go out with older men. Like I actively sought that out because I wasn't interested in anybody my age. I was like, all these like young kids are like fucking idiots and like screw them.
So if you had a daughter and
like she wanted to go out with like a 30-year-old and she was like 16. Yeah, I would have a huge issue with that if she was my daughter.
Yeah.
But like if she was smart, she wouldn't say anything, which is I didn't tell my mom. Yeah. I was not telling my mom I was doing these things.
Yeah.
I had my secrets.
Yeah, but I do think the issue is that like, okay, like you can say like I'm totally comfortable and I know what I want and I know what I'm attracted to, but at the end of the day, like you're 16 and there's like a power dynamic and maybe that's like a kink,
Yeah.
But it's also just it's all interesting, you know what I mean?
It's also like what I don't know. I always like, especially when I was younger, I always like fantasized about, like not fantasized, but I always just felt like it was really sophisticated to be like a really young girl with a really older boyfriend. Yeah. Like I just like thought like
not like the Woody Allen whole
not like that. Not like child bride or like whatever. It's not like I was groomed by any of these people. These were people I actively sought out on like dating apps online, and like they like knew I was like at 16 or whatever.
But also I do feel like when you are obviously I'm not trans, so I don't obviously know your experience, but I feel like when you are like different, like when you're part of the LGBT community, you do things that like you have to explore like a little bit more. You know what I mean? Sorry, is it too close to you?
No, it was just like too far away from you.
Like I feel like you need to experiment to figure out your place when you don't really know your place yet,
Yeah. I don't know, like whatever. Like I think that's very typical. Like when you're a young person in the LGBTQ community, you're already an outcast and you're looking for like anybody, like any kind of guidance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So a lot of like younger LGBTQ people try to find that guidance from like an older person who's in the community as well. And like, yeah, is it predatory? Like a little bit. And like, is it creepy? Yeah, a little bit. But also like for some people, that's like a necessary thing that they need to feel like a sense of community and to have some sort of guidance and to feel accepted by and loved by somebody. Because if you're being called a faggot and if you're 17 years old and you're in high school and you're being called a faggot every day and everybody's shitting on you and like there's nobody like that you feel like understands you or gets you or loves you, and then you go on like a grinder or something like that and you match with like a 28-year-old guy and you're 17 and you hang out with a 28-year-old guy and he's like teaching you the ropes of being gay and you also have some kind of like romantic relationship with them. I can understand.
So that's what I mean.
Why but like that's the problem with society. Like we need to become more accepting of people like when they're younger and like allow those people to like be themselves, because that way they'll date people their own age and not like seek it out in like seedy apps like Grindr.
Well,
like
that's
whatever.
what I mean. So I'm saying like with the older men, there was an like maybe if you weren't in your position, you wouldn't like that wouldn't happen. You go what I'm saying?
Maybe not. I don't know. Who's to say? Like I only lived like the way I lived.
Like
so,
even for me, like in high school, like I was in and out of high school because I couldn't handle high school, and like my mom pulled me out, and then I was like homeschooled and stuff. And I think a lot of it had to do with like I feel like even though I'm still young, I feel like it still wasn't like normalized to be gay as much. Like I feel like once I graduated, I heard like the freshmen, like a lot of them were coming out and stuff, and I'm like, oh okay, but that was not the case when I was in high school.
No, it wasn't. It was so strange. Like the shift was like when I was a freshman in high school, like everybody was super homophobic. Yeah. And then by the time my brother was in high school, he like came out his freshman year, and like only a few people bullied him. Yeah. The cultural shift was very quick. Yeah. And it went from being like whatever, you can bully faggots and like whatever and say whatever you want, and then it was like if you have a problem with gay people, that probably means you're gay. Yeah. And like why do you care? Yeah. And, like whatever, which is true. I was never homophobic until I became an adult. And now I hate gays. And now I hate the gay community. Celebrate Pride. Are you on crack? I would never.
But I'm also saying, like, maybe I would have, like, enjoyed, like, high school. And maybe I would have never been homeschooled if I, like, who knows? Like, I got into, like, the wrong crowd. And I just didn't know who I was. And I couldn't handle high school. So yeah. I'm saying, like, when you're that age and stuff, like, and especially when you don't really know where you fit and you're figuring it out. And, like, obviously, secretly, I knew I was gay. Yeah. And I'm sure you knew your truth, too. But, like, who are you going to talk? Like, if it's not normal in your high school, who the fuck are you going to talk to? Especially, like,
for sure.
Because I was like, I feel like me. And I just want girls who are also feminine. Like,
exactly. Like that's the thing is I'm not just so like I just wanted to make it very clear. I'm not like justifying like predatory relationships between older people and like underage people. Like I'm not trying to justify that whatsoever. It's fucked up. It's wrong. But I understand like why like people in the LGBTQ community like oftentimes seek out those relationships because they like are lacking the guidance and the support from like the people in their personal lives. Yeah. So they try to go out and find it. And sometimes, like, they find it in the wrong places with the wrong people. Yeah. And, like, that's something we should be protecting those people from. But the only way we are going to be able to protect those people from being put into situations like that is, like, if we as a society make it, like, more acceptable to just be who you are. Yeah. Without judgment. Yeah. You know, but that's just going to take a very long time. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone. Thank you for being here, Sienna.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Everyone tune in to her podcast, Sexual Reeducation. It's amazing. And thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we got to film this like major Pride episode. Alrighty. Bye.